so I need to get it for myself to find out whether it's true or not. But I want to ask you a question. Let's say you're right. I'll grant that you're right, and he's on the list and all the things, and you're right about all the accusations you've been making. Why is it wrong that he did those things? Trump, in particular. Why is it wrong that he did those things?
Because child rape is wrong.
Why? Can you answer that?
Because you're raping a child.
Yeah, and what is wrong about that?
Are you asking me why it's wrong?
All right, so there's two things I find wrong with this video. The first thing is that he's answering the question by reframing the question. That's circular reasoning. It's like asking, what is the definition of a woman? And then you say, a person who identifies as a woman. That gives no substance to the question at hand. What I think that the opposer, the guy that he's debating, his point that he's trying to make is for moral absolutism. And I believe the way Dean Withers is answering this question is because he thinks intrinsically that child rape is wrong. And I do agree with that. But the thing is, Dean Withers is an atheist, right? So with moral absolutism, it believes that there is a set moral standard for us to follow, and it's intrinsic to our being. So it's like inherent, it's within us, right? And I think that it's hard to make an argument as an atheist in moral absolutism if you don't believe in God, because God is the one who set the moral standard. And there's really two main beliefs between morality, and that's moral absolutism, which is the thing that I believe that God set a moral standard, and that's what we follow by, and that's why things are intrinsically wrong or right. And then there's moral relativism, which is basically what's right or wrong can be defined by the person at hand or a group of people. And what I think that as an atheist who mainly believe in moral relativism is more dangerous than this guy asking if child rape is wrong. And if you look at the comments of this video, and including Dean Withers' reaction, just because he's asking why is child rape wrong, you're automatically assuming that he's fighting for that side to believe that child rape is good. And it's not why he's asking. He's asking because he's trying to make a moral judgment, a moral standpoint, right? Why I think this is important, because if you know that things are intrinsically wrong or intrinsically right, which is like built within you, who do you think gave you that ability to believe that, right? Because if you look at different countries, just say for Muslim countries, for example, if they have Sharia law place in that country, they believe it's okay to marry little kids, right? And you would have to say that's okay because they collectively, as a society, believe that. But that's wrong. So I feel like to argue that child rape is wrong and using the reasoning that Dean Withers is by saying, well, it's wrong because it's wrong, you're kind of saying it's wrong because God is real. Now you're probably saying, well, he didn't say that, but I've explained it very clear that if you think it's wrong because it's wrong, it's because there's something inside of you telling you that it's wrong. And if something inside of you is telling you that it's wrong, what is that thing inside of you? I believe it's the Holy Spirit. And I think there's a lot of evidence to prove once we start defining good and evil by ourselves, that's when chaos happens. And the thing is with chaos, once you start defining one thing away from God's standard, it you don't just get one. It's not like a cause and effect where because you've done this, you get one effect out of this. It's a cascade of issues that arise, right? Because if we can't get to the basis of truth, because I believe there's absolute truth, I believe that we have to know what's right or wrong, right? Or else nothing is right or wrong, and we can believe whatever we want, and we could do whatever we want. And I think we can all say that's stupid, and that's very dangerous to have that in a society. And it's happened, you know what I mean? So what this reminds me of is in the book of Genesis, where in the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve, were having the time of their lives, and then a little serpent came along, and that serpent was like, "Yo, eat of this tree of knowledge," and they were like, "I don't know. God said that, you know, I will surely die if I eat of the tree of knowledge," and the serpent's like, "Dude, you will not surely die, bro. Come on, dude. Take a little bite of that apple." And I think what's powerful about that is that Eve at that point listens to the serpent, which I believe is like a symbol of chaos, and is going to define good and evil to her, is going to define good and evil based off her own intuition instead of the set standpoint that God has already set, the only rule that he had in the Garden of Eden. And with that came a cascade of issues, a plethora of issues. It wasn't just like, oh, I ate of the tree of knowledge, now I know everything. It's more because now you know everything that now you believe you're naked. You're afraid to go against God because you know what you've done wrong. There were so many things that came into being when you define good and evil to your own standard. And that's why I believe that it's moral absolutism is proof of God. And Dean Withers, I think, is making a case that God is real based off his answers. Spidey, 2 cents out.